What's up, everyone? Eric with HamRadioConcepts, KJ4YZI. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, like, and share on Facebook. I got a video here that's going to probably answer a lot of questions. Now, I've done videos recently on the Xiegu X108G, the mcHF RS-918 clone, the Xiegu X5105, and the trusty Yaesu FT817. So 4 portable rigs, call them QRP rigs. Some have a few more watts than QRP. But we're going to call it a QRP rig comparison. Now, after the Hurricane Irma, and now my computer just crapped out again, 3 of these radios are going to be sold after this video. I'm not sure which one I'm keeping, but I'm going to show you in a video here different features on each one quick like, because there's a lot of questions now. Well, you said this one does this and this one does that, but why would I want this one over this one? Well, again, I'm not telling you which one to buy, and I'm not comparing this basically a Yaesu versus a Xiegu. I'm a Yaesu fan, but all these radios have interesting features that I like. And hopefully this video will give you an idea of each one without going too overboard. We're not talking about performance or name brand. We're talking about just the radio themselves. And then after this, like I said, I'm going to be selling these. And one day down the road, I can get more. So let's take a look at each one of them. So with all 4 of these radios, the price point is somewhere in the same kind of ballpark. For instance, you could find an 817 on the internet used. This is the non-ND model, somewhere around $400 or $500. 300, 400, 500. Depends on if they have the box and the manual for the 817. The ND model, just a little bit more. X5105, about $600. The RS-918 clone, about $400, $450, depending on where you buy it. The Xiegu X108G, about $400, $420. So somewhere in the $400 or $500 range for all these radios. The X5105 being the most expensive at this time, unless you get a new 817 ND. Talking about new, the 817 would be more expensive, but if you're talking about a used 817, you're talking about $400, $500, $600, depending on quality, the age of it, and stuff like that. So 1, 2, 3 radios here are new. The 5105, the RS-918, and the X108G are all about, we'll call it new, because the 817's been around for many years. That's not nothing new. I love this radio though. The RS-918 clone, the X5105, and the X108G. Oldest would be X108G, come out about a couple years ago. This one about last year, and this one about last month. So the X5105 is the newest of all 4 that you're looking at. So that kind of gives you an idea of, which ones are the newest. The Xiegu X5105 and the X108G are both the same company. The RS-918 here is a clone of the mcHF. It's actually a China clone. The mcHF originally comes as a kit from M0NKA, but they decided to clone this one. So if you decide to buy the kit yourself and put it together from the mcHF developer, it'll be essentially looking like the same radio, but maybe a few different parts and different firmware perhaps. In my quest to always be ultra portable, with minimal power, with me for a QRP outing, I'm going to minus these 2 here for a minute, because the 817 and the 5105 both have a built-in battery. Now, the battery in the X5105 is much higher capacity and longer runtime than the 817 battery inside. The 817 has many options for batteries. They have new LiPo batteries and older nickel cadmium, nickel metal hydride, and all that. that you can put in here. Both of these have a battery, although this one has a longer runtime. Now, the X5105 and the 817 can both be powered externally as well. But in the situation that you want to be ultra portable on a mountaintop or something, of the four I'm showing you, these two are the only two that have batteries built in that can be used portable. With that being said, one difference is that the X5105 compared to this, if we're talking about, okay, both of these are battery powered, now which one do I want of these two? Well, talk about the features real quick, or the bands at least. They're both 5 watts. The 5105 only does HF in 6 meters, but the 817 does HF 6 meters as well as VHF UHF sideband. Now that's a big plus for me because I don't have any other way of doing VHF sideband for contests and stuff like that. So the 817 and this, they're both battery powered, they're both 5 watts. However, this one has more band capability with a much smaller screen. On the flip side of that, the X5105 has a built-in tuner, an auto tuner. So of all 4 of these radios, only the 5105 has a built-in auto tuner that will tune. So if I'm going portable, I don't have to have something like this. If I wanted to be extremely, portable with an antenna mounted on the side of this thing on battery with a tuner built in, I'm done. So you're gonna sacrifice, am I gonna sacrifice the band possibilities, or the frequency possibilities for the built-in tuner? Don't know. Both of these can be operated remotely with a computer. However, at this time, the 5105 does not have just a ready access way to cable to connect to the computer. Now they do say they're working on it, and it does have the accessory ports for connectivity to the computer, as well as the ASU does on the back with the 6-pin mini DIN. The videos can be seen on both of these in complete form, but this is just an overview. So that of the 4, these 2 are battery, and this one has a built-in tuner, but this one does VHF UHF sideband as well, both at 5 watts. Okay, we'll go back to the other side now. We're going to take these 2 out for just a second and talk about these 2 over here. Now these are a little more power. 20 watts for the X108G, 15 watts for the RS-918. The RS-918 being a SDR. Of the 4, the only SDR with a waterfall display on the screen. Both of these have a color display, but the RS-918 actually has a waterfall and a lot of other features in between all these. Again, the full videos can be seen on my YouTube channel. So it may be a big deal for you to go to 20 watts or 15 watts over the regular 5 watts, but at that point you're getting more power, but now you're losing a little bit of HF spectrum, or you're losing at least 6 meters. Both of these radios will do HF 160 through 10 meters, but no 6 meters. So if you want 6 meters in a QRP portable radio, you're going to have to get one of these 2 over here. Okay? So these 2 over here do not do 6 meters. However, of the 4 you're looking at, all 4, well, we're going to call it 3. For the sake of this video, 3 out of the 4 have PC connectivity. And this one can have PC connectivity. It is possible. They have the pin out. Just there's no ready-made cable yet. Maybe 2 months from now there'll be a ready cable. But of the 3 here for Ham Radio Deluxe or JT65 software, the good thing about it is 1 out of the 4 actually lets you do that with just 1 cable. Just using a USB cable, you can connect to HRD and pass audio through here without a USB or a sound card interface. So you don't have to have a USB radio interface or a signal link when you're using this. You can do it all just with 1 single USB cable to your computer from cat control. And if you want, you could also use the line in, line out for that. So of the four, this one is probably the easiest and the most effective with a single cable to get on and use PSK and RTTY and JT65. Can be done with all four of them, but without having a sound card interface, that's just one more thing I don't have to have if I go portable. Although, using this compared to the way I showed you before, I may not have to have a signal link or something, but I do have to have a battery. So, starting to weigh out a lot of things here. Do you want battery? Do you want sound card interface? What do you want? This radio right here is a SDR. So the SDR and the waterfall display, you can kind of see signals a lot better when you're scrolling around QRP looking for RTTY or CW or sideband phone contacts. You can see them better on the RS-918 than you could on any of the other ones. Of the four that you're looking at in this video, these two have adjustable filtering. The filtering can be changed to many different bandwidths. If you want to make it 5 kilohertz wide, 10 kilohertz wide, 2.3 kilohertz wide, 500 kilohertz wide, you can go anywhere in between from 100 or 200, 500 kilohertz all the way up to 10 kilohertz, or I think it even goes to 20, but you can do that with both of these radios in the menu settings. As far as the menu settings in both of these radios, they're a little more in depth when you're talking about receiver performance and filtering features and stuff like that. So you have the ability to customize the filtering in both of these radios to allow it to cater to exactly what you want without having to buy different filters. Much like the 817, you have to buy external filters to put them in there, and that costs a little more money. Are the filter qualities the same? Don't know. We're not getting into that today. Don't ask me. All I'm telling you is this one has more filtering options, being that you can customize them at different bandwidths than you can with the other one. Of the four radios here, the only one with an IF out stage would be the 5105. And they are making a PAN adapter that they call it a data terminal, Xiegu, and it will go right into here and it will show you a full spectrum display of the band, or a band scope, or PAN adapter, or waterfall, or whatever you want to call it here. So the option exists for you to plug it into here to add on to this radio. None of the other radios will give you that option. Now, with that being said, other options available for these, well, Xiegu does make an automatic antenna tuner and amplifier outboard that will go in with both of these radios with the accessory port or the amp port in the back. So you can use that amplifier on both of those. It's 125 watt auto tuner band switching with amplifier built in. This here does not have any accessories to my knowledge at this time that mate with it. There are people on eBay or Amazon that make little Chinese amplifiers that mate with the 817 that are band switching, and they work on the accessory port in the back of the 817. Those are affiliated in no way with any manufacturer. They're their own little amps. So far they've been, I think it's the MX50P, M50XP, but they've been so far pretty good from what I've read online. So outboard amplifiers are available for the FT817, the Xiegu X108G, 5105. At this time, you could use an amp of this if you wanted to, just running it with the antenna out, but no accessory at this time that will mate with this for band switching or auto tuning and stuff like that. As far as antenna connectors, X5105 BNC, RS-918 BNC, X108G SO239. The Yaesu FT817 has two of them, a SO239 on the back and a BNC on the front. So you could use, of all four of these, the 817 is the only one that you would be able to use with the strap around your neck, antenna facing off the top, and hiking. You could use the antenna off the front with the radio in front of you, or sitting on a table with the antenna in the back. But adapters like this can be had for a couple dollars, and you can use this with whatever antenna you want. As far as that goes, all 4 of these can be used with the ham sticks that I showed you. These are the MFJ BNC ham sticks with a suitable right angle adapter that I have somewhere sitting around here on my desk I can't find. You can use these on all 4 of these radios. Get a right angle to put on this one, right angle to put on this one, right angle here, right angle on the front, right angle on the back. So all of these can be used with ham sticks. So they all can be set up in a portable environment without having to have, special antennas. You can do, it's just no different than any other radio you used as far as antennas. Now, talk about the future of these radios. Well, just a hint that firmware upgradable can be the X5105 and the RS-918. However, the RS-918 does have a USB host here, and they're talking about a firmware that may or may not be out already, where I can connect a keyboard to that USB and decode PSK and RIDI right on the screen. Now, that probably can be done with a firmware update, but I'm not exactly sure what the progress is of that, but that's what I've heard. These 3 you cannot do that with. And on top of that, the RS-918 is a touchscreen. Makes it a little bit easier when you're using it with a touchscreen. Of the 4, talking about screen size and readability, biggest, most readable would be the 5105 for the visually impaired. The smallest would be the 817. Of the 4, these 2 are colored, but this one has a lot of info on it with the spectrum scope, as I said, and customizable different colors for the S meter and the scope colors and the waterfall colors and the hot and dark and all that stuff. But this one will be the prettiest. This one will be the largest to see. This one will be the smallest. Of the 4, this one is the most customizable on the screen. Now, with that being said, in the dark situation or in readability in a dark situation, the X5105 and the RS-918 would be the easiest as far as the illuminated buttons and the screen size and the brilliant colors on the display. Now, of the 4, 2 of them, the Zygoos, have standard a DTMF lighted keypad microphone that you can control the radio from the microphone. Change bands, activate the tuner, up and down, all that stuff, and it's backlit so you can see it in the dark. The 817 microphone, I only have the standard one with the up and down on it, but you can purchase an optional DTMF microphone. The RS-918 is the one that has the worst microphone of the 4. It comes with just nothing more than a Bofeng microphone with a 3.5 millimeter 4-pole connector on it with no features or up and down or anything, and pretty cheap. This is a Bofeng microphone that they've retrofit to this plug here. Now, you can get a pinout online and you can adapt your own microphone to this. But from what I've been told of all the mics, these ones, when I'm talking on them, with the X5105 and the X108G, the included microphones sound just as good as my Yaesu microphones. No problem at all. This one, actually, pretty poor quality. So if you're going to go with this one, this mic may work, but I would plan on wiring up a different mic, or maybe make a breakout for the mic port here so that you can use an 8-pin modular into it, whatever you got to do. And with that being said, the only one of these out of all 4 that you can actually use without a microphone, 5105. You can actually transmit with the PTT button right here and talk right into the front of the radio as a microphone without having to have a wired microphone. So I think of these 4 regarding microphones, this is probably the coolest that you can use the included mic or here. That might be cool for, you know, if you have a couple people sitting around, you're talking to relatives, or you're just rag chewing, and you don't have to pass the mic back and forth to a bunch of people. Just hit the button and, you know, key up and talk right into the radio. You know, that's pretty cool. It does sound a little different, kind of tinny, with a lot of the inside case that you can hear when you're talking into it, as opposed to the actual microphone. But the only one you can talk without a handheld microphone is this one right here, the 5105. So with that being said, if you're familiar with all four of these radios, or you're new to all four of these radios, you can find a video on each one of them on my YouTube channel for a complete specs operation demo online. You know, I've done a lot with my 817. I always wanted the 817, always. I made that video, what was it, a year and a half ago, with me on the beach with a ham stick like this, talking across the United States on 5 watts, standing in the surf. That's always what I wanted to do with the 817. That was my one thing to conquer. I did it. And but I've done a lot with the 817. I like the upper side, lower side band, CW for VHF, UHF on this radio. But as I said, 3 out of the 4 of these are going. And I think I'm going to make my decision that of all 4 of these, I think all 4 of them have a purpose. All 4 of them are pretty neat. I've loved using all 4 of them. I think the one that's going to stay with me for now is going to be the 5105. I think I'm going to go ahead and sell the 817, RS-918, and the X108G. So I did put the info up on Facebook that I am going to be selling them, although I'm not sure who to sell it to first. But other things come in priority. The hurricane really set me back, and I got to move forward with some videos, so I got to recuperate some in order to get those going. So I hope this video at least answered some questions for you as far as which one do you want, because I've gotten you all excited on different radios that came out. But if you have any questions, comment below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, like and share on Facebook, and more videos will be on the way as soon as I get caught up here. Thanks for watching though, and 7-3 from KJ for YZI.